Alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and welcome to new topic. Today topic is about electronical commerce systems. In today's topic, we will talk about something that we feel it and we practice it in a daily and even in a minute base. So we are using the internet in the social communication. We use the internet to do shopping, business, and day by day companies are evolving to the using the e-commerce more and more, and with the COVID-19 the last year 2020 was the year of transforming most of the companies, even in the level of small size of companies, transforming to do online business. So today topic is more relevant to our daily life, and we will try to discuss it in more technical way to have good view, and then we will discuss also the this is the main objectives for this topic, e-commerce system. So the main objectives is to get to know the networking connectivity, what is the basis on it, and then we will discuss also trying to know the protocols that the internet bosses, or the conceptual process of the protocols for transforming the data and so on through the internet. Then we will discuss as well the risk associated with the intranet and internet. We need to differentiate between the intranet and the internet for sure, and then we'll discuss the issue of security assurance and trust related to the online business. Lastly, we'll discuss the implications on accounting profession based from the electronical e-commerce. The electronic processing and transmission of business data is varied. We have many types. We can summarize them in the electronic buying and selling of goods and services, simply the online shopping. We know, I believe most of us are using now Shopee, Lazada, and other Moda, and so on. We are using that the online shopping to do the normal process or the daily activities. Then we have online delivery, digital product. We have now we have this kind of business in through the Grab. We have also the Lala Move, sorry, and we have many applications is coming to the market. Then we have electronical fund transfer. This one EFT, based on the bank services that we are using based on the e-commerce. Then we have electronical trading of stocks, the e-investment or e-business stock trading. We have also direct consumer marketing to do also the direct transfer and buying the stocks. And then we have electronical data interchange, EDI, and I believe we did discuss EDI in two topics, the revenue cycle and the expenditure or purchasing cycle. We will discuss today also, we just for refreshing our idea about EDI. The main concept is about shopping, e-commerce integration. It helps to transfer money through the online, and then also get the stuff or services through the goods through this online base. Electronical commerce systems is driving by the internet revolution. So it's based on the internet, based on using the internet revolution. And the more connectivity we are, the more business or e-commerce we can have. So electronical e-commerce has dramatically expanded and undergone radical changes in the recent years, and especially, as I said, in 2000 in 2020 was the huge dramatic change. The businesses, small business has moved and transformed to be online business, and start to transfer and using the delivery services, or using the also using some of them have their own application to sell their product direct, like groceries and so on. I have experienced one of the Arabic shop, grocery shop, that in my area now they have their own application. You can choose the items that you want, and then they connect with other application services for delivery, either Grab or other applications to send the goods to your house. Okay, so the internet is providing opportunities, but not without challenges. We will discuss what is the challenges. One of the main challenges is the how to implement, how to make it easy, and also the security, and easy to attack the cyber security. We'll discuss that in during this class. By talking about the internet revolution as a basis and platform for the e-commerce, we shouldn't deny the Internet of Things features. It's one of the features of the revolution, fourth in digital revolution era. So, Internet of Things, or IoT, is the simple, in a simple way, it is the connectivity of connect anywhere and for whenever. So we connect connect the machine, washing machine, connect the stereotype, connect the oven, connect the coffee machine, connect the refrigerators. Whenever, when you connect this, all of these machines, you can connect them to the supplies, to let's say you have lack of, or the you set up your machine to in to the certain of quantities, you the machine will order. When it's connected to the internet, it will be and through an application will be connected, and will order through let's say order through this system, will order by itself. Also the same thing, refrigerators. One of the I think Samsung is the one who the company who introduced the first smart refrigerator. By setting up, having the refrigerators have application, and through this application you can connect to what you want to order, what you want to cook, let's say, and then the refrigerator would review the quantity of the items, or the vegetables, or the ingredients in the within the refrigerators, and then will order any missing items from the online shopping, online grocery shop, and so on. For the stereo, will order the also will order the music that you like. The for the washing machine will order the soap, and so on. Okay, so that's the simple way. But IoT is very diverse, very huge feature, and even one of the features that by connecting the cars and the CCTV on the road, the insurance companies can rely on the review of how you drive to determine the insurance policy for your driving and the installment and so on. Now let's have a look to the internet technologies basis. So we need to understand what is the internet, what is the basic definition of internet technology. One of the internet main feature is the website or the web. So uh, we normally we see it in the beginning of the web address www dot. So it is it is the short form of wide web. It is the internet facility that links users site to locally and globally. So fundamental format is a text document called a web page. So this web page that has embedded through the hypertext markup language. Hypertext markup language, and normally we see it. It is the language of we normally we talk about the coding of putting this. It's under the HTML, and I believe we discussed the HTML. We discussed also the XML, the flexible language that we talk about the financial reporting. So this is the basic fundamental of writing and uploading the documents through the system is the HTML, and also beside the XML. The web pages are maintained at websites, which are computer servers that support the hypertext transfer protocols, HTTP. So the hypertext transfer protocols is the protocols what to transfer and how to protect the data and so on. So we will discuss also some details about the HTTP in a short while. Pages are accessed via a web browser using the Uniform Resource Locator, or short form URL. URL is one of the common short form that we used in the internet, talking about the website page, with the home page being the point of entry. One of the internet technology also is the back switching. The back switching is a technique where it divides the messages into a small packet that take different routes to their destination. So you can see here we have, let's say for example, we have this is the sender, the computer sending the message, and this is the what we call back switching, and then it switch the message, divided into different dividing into two different parts, and then send this part in from to different types or to different side. So you can see here it some goes here, then this one also can divide again, another switch will switch again here and here. So in the end this switch will combine all of the component of the message and deliver it as it is viewed, and view it as it's viewed in the as it's viewed in the receiver will view the message as it's sent from the sender. So this is one of the techniques for the internet technology to first to make it easy to send, because it cannot be sent like one block. For example, when you send a link of video, when you send a link of a movie or a small video, you to say to say with to send, let's say you send the video to your friend, and then your friend, he cannot just simply watch the video, he need to download. That download is connecting, it is the process of backed switching. Same thing is the document and so on, because it is not send as it is view in the sender, but it need to be it sent in different messages, so they it will be combined and viewed if you download the file. Okay, that's as simple as that. So here we have also a good example. This figure is explaining the message back switching, and see we have W, the message is contained of W123 and X123, Y and Z. So this is the message before it's sent. So the switching, the switch network switching, when you click send, it will be switch this message. If you notice here, it divide x1 and 2 3 in one side. Here you see here, and then we have here W3 and 2 here, and then we have 3 Y3 and Y2. We have Z3 and Z2. It's not, there is no basis of why it happened like this. It's kind randomly to just to make it easy, because it's not the internet of transferring the data. It try to divide those this message and make it partial, small partials, in order for the message to go through. And then we have another network switch is to playing a role to again uh, here to have another switching of the data, and if it is connected here, it send the Z again, combine the Z. And then if you see here, the destination X get the same items, and Y have the same items, W have the same items, even though while it's in the on the way to from the through the internet wasn't as they are. So the backed are reassembled at their destination into complete message. So they combined again, but it's not sent as it is. Then another technique is virtual private network, or VPN. So VPN is private network within a public network. What we mean by that? Within the public network, the internet, it create what we call VPN to secure the transforming of the data while it is in on the way, or the in the networking, to protect from hackers, snappers, and also government when for checking or trying to see the information. So this is also, this picture is just to explain. Let's say you have it create a tunnels, VPN tunnels to protect the transforming of the then we have extranet. Extranet is a password controlled network for private users. So intranet is uh, extranet is a password to promise to give the permission, so for users to access the internet. So if you see here, we have external users. Those are the external users. There is a firewall. They cannot access the information unless they have and they have the password to access these files, so through the internet. So for example, you when you want to access, let's say, your student page, you cannot access it unless you have the password to access your information, or to access the assignment and so on. So that is what we call the extranet. Okay, so then we have the internet address is one of the techniques to also to identify the website, or identify the sender and so on. So under the internet addresses, it's like you have a physical address, you like name and passport name and so on. You need to also to have internet or email address. Okay, so internet uses three types of addresses for communication through the internet. One is email address, formatted as username and then at and domain name. And I believe every one of us, even sometime 5 years old kids, they start to think about having username in order to play or something. My daughter is 6 years old and she already have an email. Okay, then we have domain name. The domain name is the organization's and its unique name combined with top level domain TLD name. You know, like Gmail, Yahoo, and so on. So, and also USIM. Now USIM we have for professional emails for the university student or staff. We have the domain will be the organization's identity name. And then we have the Internet Ad Hoc Committee. We know what is ad hoc. Ad hoc is temporary or changeable report. We use as ad hoc report, but here we have the Internet Ad Hoc Committee has introduced a category called generic top level domain, including firm for business and none for individual personal. So just now what I mentioned, when you have business email, and you have also your personal address under the Gmail and so on, so that is based on the ad hoc committee. Okay. One of the main features of internet addresses is the URL. URL stands for Uniform Resource Locator. It's address that defines path of facility or file on the web. So um, it shows here in this in this website address for google.com. You can see that it is all this address is called URL. Okay, but how to understand it or how to read it, we should read it first. The HTTP is the protocol of hypertext transform. So it's based on HTTP of transfer information through this protocol. And we have subdomain is the www the dot. Then Google is the domain name or the organization name, and then .com is top level domain TLD. Okay, so general format is protocol prefix, domain name, subdirectory name, and document name, but entire the entire is called URL. Not always needed. What we mean by not always needed, sometimes we don't need to write now. The website is more smart. Sometimes we don't need to identify to have the same flow of the website name. Okay, and then subdirections. So subdirectories can be several levels deep, each separated by a slash. Like this. You name, then you have slash, then name, you have, especially when you have more subdirectories. of that website. Or when you go to one page, let's say you go to goals dot com dot my, let's say, and then you enter to your page, then you will have different URL directory, and it will have slash, then maybe your metric, and then slash, then let's say exam or quiz, and so on. IBA address is also one of the internet addresses features. So any devices that connected to the internet should have IB address, unique IB address. It's like the passport number that you cannot go out from the country unless you have that passport number. So that is kind of identification, unique identification number. So every computer node and host must have a unique internet protocol, or we call it IB address. Now let's talk about networking protocols. Networking protocols is rules and standards that governing hardware software design that permit networking users which different vendors have manufactured. So any vendors manufacturing devices, they need to set up their hardware and software according to those protocols in order for their devices to be to allowed or to access the communication and sharing that. Having said that about networking protocols, let's say in details what is it. So networking protocols facilitate physical connection between network devices and synchronizing the transfer of data between physical devices. Then it's also the protocol provide basis for errors checking and measuring the network performance. Networking protocols promote compatibility among network devices. Also, it promote flexible, expandable, cost-effective network designs. Data communication community through the international standards organizations has developed a layered set of protocols called Open System Interface OSI. This OSI is based on 7 protocols layers that control or trying to control and role govern the networking process. So number one is physical control. The physical control is based on physical structure of the devices, and we have in terms of the cores, fiber, wireless, and hub and repeaters. So all of this should be built-in structure into the devices. Then we have data link. It's based on the link or network. So it should be based on this, the switch networking and the bridge and the Ethereum, in Ethernet and the frames. Then we have networking. We have the IB. So each BC should have IB, and then we have the bucket networking or bucket switching. So also it's based on the networking. Then we have transport the information here. So it should be one of the protocols here is the end-to-end connection and TCP UDP. Each one is trying to control something in the transforming the information and so on. And then number 5 is session. Session is having different ports and so on in terms of sending sending information and so on. Then we have presentation, how this information or this data been transformed, so how it should be received. So that is based on those protocols, either GPEG and so on, these features of syntax and so on. And then the last feature or the last layer of the protocols is the application end users layer. And you see here the HTTP, FTP, and so on. Those are the protocols for applications used in the destiny of the information. So this one also, again, just to explain those layers, protocols, networking protocols, physical layers, data link layers, networking layers, transport layers, and switching layers, presentation layers, and application layers. You can see here we have those three are can be categorized under the operational system, OS, and those are under the networking networking process. We are not going to discuss the protocols in details, but let's have some details on it, some background about it. But for your information, this is more technical. Even sometimes, even the website designers will not give much attention to those terminologies and how it works and so on, because that will not impact or change their career. So, but for us as an accountant, it's general information we need to know, because we can also understand the discussion when there is a website or there is what we call integrated database or using ERP system through the internet and so on. So we need to understand what is the protocols for the privacy and protection of the data within the organization and partners. Okay, so transfer control protocol, internet protocols, TCP or IP. It permits communication between internet sites, controls who individual packets of data are formulated or formatted, transmitted, and received. So it make it reliable because delivery is guaranteed. Okay. The file transfer protocol, FTP, used to transfer files across the internet. And then we have simple network mail protocol, SNMP, is for email. Also post office protocols, internet message access protocol is also for emails. And then we have security protocols are encryption schemas, include secure Scott's layers, layer, SSL, private communication technology, PCT, secure electronic transmission, SET, and privacy enhanced mail, PAM. The protocol is network news transfer protocol, NNTP, used to connect to Usenet groups on the internet. HTTP protocols controls web browsers that access the web. Then we have hypertext transport protocol next generation. HTTP/NG is an enhanced version to the HTTP protocol that maintain simplicity of HTTP while adding more into the security and authentication. Then we have hypertext markup language, HTML protocol, which is based on how the document format used to produce web page. It defines layout and hypertext links to other documents or other website. So also does not support the exchange of information in relation form. So this one is if you are looking for exchange information in form, then you need to then we apply the protocol XML protocol. So it's automatically imported into receive organization's internet database. Now let's look into the benefit of internet commerce. uh, what is the benefit of internet business models? So number one is access to a worldwide customer and or supplier basis. So you can see now uh, you can access anything, any suppliers in any different part of the world. So you can through Alibaba is mainly for suppliers and vendors. Through that website you can get more variety of suppliers, not only necessary that you can reach physically. And then reduction in inventory levels, carrying and procurement costs. So by reducing the cost, it's enhancing the production or the efficiency of the of the business and so on. So that's one of the very important feature or benefit of having e-commerce, having or internet business. It in reducing the inventory cost and the procurement cost by having the business through the internet, either selling to the customers or looking for resource from the suppliers through the internet. And then we have rapid creation of business partnership to fill market niches. So by having using the internet, then it's you are rapidly growing your business through different business partnership through this internet. No need to know them, no need to know their language, no need to know some aspect of them, but you can make a good business by having the business through the mediation through the internet. And then reduction in retail price throughout lower marketing cost by reducing the mediation and so on. Now especially when we talk about the smart contract, the new version of business business contract and so on, and talking about the blockchain smart contract, and also the cryptocurrencies that will it is the language of futures business environment that will come out with different aspect of business process of partnership market and so on. Lastly, better customer services, because when you use the internet shopping and so on, or internet commerce, you can collect data and analyze it, as we said, data mining and so on, to serve the customers in better way. Part of the benefit of internet e-commerce: at the information level, organizations use the internet to display company information by creating a website. So it is more close and open to the customers through the information about their products, pictures about the company location, and also about their financial information report and so on. Also, another point or another benefit is organizations involved at transaction level accept and or place orders over the internet. So they can involve in at the level of transaction. They can process the transaction or place order through the internet. So it is what we call the e-commerce, mean the soul of the internet. And then we have Organizations operating on the distribution level uses the internet to sell and deliver digital products to customers, including computing services. Okay, so that's the main functions or main benefit of internet business. Having established the internet business models in terms of the benefits, in terms of the internet technologies related, either the protocols or related to how it works and so on. Now let's talk about new topic, or the what we can call it the advanced level of the internet business model, which is cloud computing. Cloud computing, in a simple way, is a model for enabling convenient on-demand network access to a shared pool of configurable computing resources. So we have uh, some resources that need to be used by the companies. Now, let's say we have database, we need storage. So now the cloud computing come with different concept. No need to have the storage in your physical device. You can have it through the cloud basis, through the internet. Also in terms of services, software, in terms of also infrastructure. So we will discuss those, all of these three matters. So cloud computing is a model for enabling convenient on-demand network access to shared pool of configurable computing resources that can be rapidly provisioned and released with minimal management effort or services provider interaction. Okay, so the traditional server architecture is based on three main components. So I believe all of us, we know that the desktop, when you need to operate or use the desktop, you need to have operating system, and this operating system either Windows, we have now Windows 10 and so on, but previously we have Millennium Windows and so on, and or Macintosh for the Apple operational system for Apple laptops. Okay, and then we have applications and software like the Word, Excel, any applications and software. To use these applications, you need to have operational system to use it through the desktop. That's the traditional server architecture. How about the cloud computing architecture? This is based on virtualized server architecture. You can see here the difference, that it is based on there is a new virtualization layer. This layer is based on visualization. What is visualization? Visualization is a multiplies the effectiveness of physical system by creating virtual computer version with separate operation systems exist in the same physical equipment. And this can be applied also to the smart handphone. So smart handphone application, there are some applications that mainly for the operational systems, like some operation systems. Yeah, let's say if you're using iPhone, then you need to download use the iOS. iOS is the operation systems for iPhone, and Android is the operating system for Samsung and other phones, smartphones. Okay, so and but you can use download applications for iPhone from the Apple Store, but also if you are using virtualization or cloud computing, you can use different software or different operating system, meaning that you can use Android for some applications and use the iOS applications and operating systems for the same devices. Okay, so network virtualization increases the effectiveness network and bandwidth, increase the expanding the work, the network, and the storage virtualization increases the storage capacity utilization. Let's have a look to the cloud computing features. And there is a main features. The first feature is create availability of resources, because you can access multiple resources with many resources through the cloud services or the cloud computing. On-demand self-services, we will explain this in a short while, meaning that you use all the services, either the storage or the platform, according to the need only. Easy maintenance, because there is a hosting company or provider who maintain these services, and then pay as you go. So it's like you have a meter for electricity or for the services. The more you use, the more you pay. But if you use less, then you pay less. So, and also it is automatic system based on automation, and it access large network access, which give more privileges and advantage to the company who use the cloud computing. Now let's look into the 4 key features to the cloud computing. Number 1, client firms can acquire IT resources from vendors on demand and as needed. So they don't need to buy like big storage or big surfaces, and then they use only half of it or some part of it. So now they just pay as they go, or they pay according to their usage of that surface. Number 2, resources are providing over the network, the internet, and access through network terminals at the client location. So they can the users or these resources can be accessed through the computer in the company, or used in different places. So one of the good example that we use now is the Dropbox or Google Drive. Google Drive or Dropbox is based on the cloud computing techniques. So you can access, you have storage through the internet, but it's free to some. I think 2 gigabyte. But if it is more, then you need to pay for it for personal use. But for business and organizations use, then you need to go for the payment service. Acquisition of resources is rapid and infinitely scalable. What we mean by this? It means whenever you want to extend or increase your surfaces, it is easy and fast to extend and expand your business and the surface used. So then we have computing resources are bold to meet the needs of multiple client firms, but individual clients have no control over or knowledge of the physical location of the services being provided. So they have no access to the physical access to the location of the information or the service provided. So we have some organization who will talk about the figures vendors of the cloud computing services. We'll talk in a short, and we will understand who's the leading companies of the industry. Cloud computing provides 3 types of services. Number 1 is software as a service, SaaS, is a model where services providers host application for clients over a network, meaning that there is now you can use the software or the applications through uh, the host or the provider of this applications and software. So I believe if you go to some software developers or design software developers companies, then the option of cloud SaaS is there. So they will ask you, do you need to have the software to be downloaded or installed in your physical computer, or you want it as SaaS base, which is they will host that the software, and they will give you they will give you username and password to use that the software from their hosting application. And then we have the second service is based on infrastructure as a service. IaaS is the provision of computing power and disk space to client who access it from desktop basis. So this is same like desktop, sorry, OneDrive or also the Dropbox and so on. Uh, so the company will provide, instead of having the space of your desktop by having, let's say, extra hard disk, physical extra hard disk, you can have infrastructure as a services, IaaS, to extend your access of or your space of storage through the cloud computing service. Lastly is the third type of service that provided under the cloud computing is platform as a service. BaaS enables firms to develop and deploy onto cloud infrastructure consumer generated applications using vendors provided facilities. So the normally this services will be acquired by website or application developers and designers. The programmers, they will use, instead of having, let's say, the application through by themselves or some facilities, they will acquire it through the cloud computing. Okay, so cloud computing services, as we said, is software as a services, SaaS, or platform as a services, PaaS, or infrastructure as a services, IaaS. Okay, so just to make it simple, the infrastructure as a services, IaaS, provides providers, for example, is the Amazon Website Services, the AWS rent out the storage and computing capacities on their servers. So the Amazon Web Services, they provide the domain storage for the website. So if you want to have the website to develop to have website, you can buy the space and the storage and the domain from the Amazon web servers who provide you the storage. For sure, there is some companies in previous time. Now you can access direct to the Amazon web services, but previously you need to go through different to the some what we call agent or mediators. But now you can buy direct. The companies can buy direct from AWS. And then platform as a services, PaaS, companies can rent predefined platforms for software development, like Microsoft. For example, those companies are Microsoft, Azure, or the provider deals with administration of the underlying services. And then we have software as a services, SaaS, and normally this is the end users services, especially interesting for private users is cloud-based application software complete with users interface such as Microsoft Office, Dropbox, Google Drive, OneDrive, and so on. So this is there is no how to say, the software is you will use it as it is, but platform as a services you need to do some modifications to also infrastructure as a services. Not the end users will use it, only the website developers and so on to make IIS is this is the sub services under the infrastructure as a services, data center infrastructure, equipment, virtualization, and system engineers. The leading company for IaaS infrastructure as a service is Microsoft Azure, VMware, Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud Platform, Alert Logic, then security as a services and software layer, and IBM is under IBM company. Then we have PaaS, platform as a services. We have this sub services: hosting, security, software, database, network access, and operating system. What is the leading companies? Leading companies of OpenShift, Google App Engine, Amazon's Web Services Engine, Yard, Windows, Azure, and then Salesforce, Long, and lastly is Long Jump. All of this is the platform as a services or PaaS. Then we have the SaaS, the end users services. Software as a service. The subsystems or the sub services provided is project management, marketing automation, live chat, help desk, invoice applications, analytics, email marketing, and CRM services. The leading companies is Salesforce, Adobe Creative Cloud, AWS, Sun, BNP, and Step, Slack, Domedex, and SetGeek. Now let's look to the implementation of cloud computing. We should be realistic that not all companies will go for cloud computing. Even the large companies, they need their needs may conflict with the cloud solution, as the firms already incurred massive investment in the equipment, properties, software, and human resource. So they don't want to waste all of what they invest for the equipment, the software they build in home from the scratch, and suddenly they stop using it. What they will do, they will just develop it and improve it to be internet based and so on. But they will not get rid of it because they spend and invest a lot of money in training and building this software and so on. Mission critical functions running on the legacy system that are may decades old. So there are some critical missions or critical functions and position in the company running the legacy system, the existing system, and they are okay, and it has been there for decades. So they don't want to really just leave that functions which may affect the company. So they believe that it's crucial to have in-house some mission critical functions to run the system. So then also no interest in in a one size fit all manuality, meaning that they are not interesting to have software or system that fit different competitors. They like to have a competitive advantage by having their own unique software or system that they operate only for that particular company. Concerns about internal controls and security issues. So if they already invest on controlling and security issues, they will not go for the cloud computing due to the challenges combined the adoption of cloud computing, because security is a real issue to the internet business model, as we explained. Implementing cloud computing, company can create electronic partnering of business enterprise, which forms dynamic virtual organizations that benefit all parties involved. And this partnership, electronic partnership, sorry, does not need a physical infrastructure, and selling organizations maintains a website with product stored at trading partners facilities. For example, now Amazon store, you sometimes you can sell something through the website where you don't have it. You are not the owner of that, but through your page, you or other intermediate shopping page, you can sell, and then you request from the partners that you are dealing with to facilitate the delivery to the customer, that your customer. And for sure, by having this dynamic virtual partnering business model, then we should consider also the security as a risk, which is potential to embedded through the business internet business model. Okay, so this is how we can explain the dynamic virtual organizations. We have customers, we have business customers, so they place an order. They place an order to the platform, shopping platform. Like now we have some platform like in Instagram and so on, and we have also in some website specialized in selling and so on. Even some website like in Malaysia, we have a website and application called Moda. Moda is selling. You are customer, you can place something, and someone will also can sell something and offer it in through the website. So that is the marketing organization. This is the marketing organization website or platform, and then the customer will place the order, and also company can place the order as well. And then those manufacturing companies or toy manufacturing, music distribution, book publishers, they can provide information about the products they have, the book, the music, and so on. And then they will receive the inventory orders from customers, and also the customer will receive the information about the product. And then third party of physical inventories uh, will facilitate the delivery to the customer who ordered this stuff after the processing of the payment. By now, we already talk about the cloud computing in terms of the type of services and in terms of the location. And let's talk about also the pro and cons about the implementation of cloud computing. First, the location. We have three types of locations cloud computing. We have public cloud. shared resources among community of users. Private cloud is service that is controlled and exclusive to some users. And then like what we have the servers or the cloud that we use, like Dropbox and so on. It's a private cloud. We use the or the OneDrive. But public cloud, like Facebook, is running based on the public cloud. And then we have hybrid cloud, ability to move workload between private and public platforms, which the normally the e-commerce website or applications of Shopee, Lazada, and so on are running based on that. And then we have in the services side, the cloud is providing cloud computing, providing three types of services. We have infrastructure as a service, and we have platform as a service. We have also software as a service. And then I already explained that in detail. So let's look into the pros and cons. For pros, scale and cost. We reduce the cost and make it, the surface will be fast. Choice and agility. It's very rigid and uh, increase the spray, make the surface is rich to more customers. uh, encapsulated the change of management. Then also next generation, it is the cloud computing allow to meet the requirement of the young generation. The cons of cloud computing implementation is lack in to surface, lock in to the surface, and then security, hacking and cyber security, and lack of control and ownership, also lack of reliability in some manners. But I believe this negative or disadvantage, there are some innovation, digital innovation to control and mitigate these disadvantages and threats. Now let's talk about electronic commerce risk. Now let's talk about internet risk to the customer. First, theft of credit card members. And there is a statistic about credit card for last that in 2020 the credit card thiefness through the internet and so on, it increased by 200%, okay, compared to the 2019. The perception that the internet is not secure for credit card purchases is considered the biggest barriers to e-commerce. Some companies are negligent or even fraudulent in the way they collect, use, and store credit card information, which cause the thieftness of credit card numbers. And also another risk is the theft of passwords, and then customer privacy, about the information about the customers and so on. And concerns about lack privacy discourage many consumers from engaging in e-commerce or internet shopping or internet commerce. And then the cookies is another issues, which is are the files contain users information that are created by web server of site being visited. So because sometimes you know that sometimes when you visit one website, they give you an option, this website is having the policy of cookies. If you click agree, then you are agreeing in sharing your personal information that is available in your IP address and in your PC, or to share it with the website you visit. Let's talk first about the e-commerce risk to the company. First, let's define what is risk, what is the business risk in general. The business risk is the possibility of loss or injury that reduces or eliminates the organization's ability to achieve the objectives. In terms of e-commerce, risk relates to the loss, theft, or destruction of data and uses of computer programs that financially or physically harm the organization. Okay, so the other risk or e-commerce risk is unauthorized authorized and illegal employee active to spawn internet threats, and this can be through the unauthorized interception of network information. We call it sniffing. Intranet connected to central corporate databases increases risk that employees will view, corrupt, change, copy, or sell data. Contributing factors to computer crime is reluctance of victim organizations to prosecute because of fear of negative publicity. What we mean by this, there are many attack to the organizations or the victim organizations that take criming through the computer or the network by hacking, especially the banking sectors. There are many cases of hacking the systems, hacking the credit card, and so on, but the banks will not publicly announce their name in terms of name of the bank and so on, and based on the cases, because that may they fear of negative publicity and the image of the company or the bank through the customers about their procedures and policy of security and so on. Legal doctrine of negligent hiring requires employers to conduct background checks. So they need to the risk of hiring unethical staff also is one of the risk to have this risk of unauthorized and illegal employee activities. Let's have a look to the internet risk to businesses. First, IP spoofing is a consent to access a web server and or to perpetrate an lawful act without revealing one's identity. Meaning that through the internet you try to the hacker will try to conceal the access or hide the access to website server and then act as someone else without revealing his own IP. Then the second internet risk is denial of service or DOS. We call it DOS attack. Is an isolate on a web server to prevent this web server from surfacing the users. Devastating to business. This DOS or DOS attack is devastating to business entities that cannot receive and process business transactions. Other malicious programs including virus, worms, logic bombs, and Trojan horse pose all of this is a threat to both internet and intranet users. May be used to bring down computer network by corrupting its operating system, destroying or corrupting database, or computing capturing a passwords, then use that passwords. Common types of those attacks. First is SYN flood attack occurs when the final acknowledgement needed to establish an internet connection is not sent or tying up the receiving server while it waits. So it prevents legitimate transactions from being received and processed. The next one is Smurf attack uses numerous intermediary computer to flood the target computer with test messages bings, cause network crowding that makes it unusable for legitimate traffic. The third one is distributed dose. DDoS can attack the form of Smurf or SYN, and the different here is by distinguished between the normal SYN flood attack and Smurf attack by the vast number of zombie computer hijacked to launch the attacks, meaning that what the attackers or the hackers do will hijack different computers, and through those computers will create and generate make it as zombie computers to send the hijacking or the distributed those attack. This is the major threats of e-commerce industry. First one is phishing attacks. Phishing attacks meaning that they send, let's say, email or WhatsApp, or sometimes they send message, SMS, just to seek some information from the users. This sensitive information will allow the hacker to suck the money or do any harmful of the data, and this one can be called as social engineering attack. And then we have credit card fraud. Credit card fraud, we know what is it. It is frauding the credit card. Some of the scamming website, they create a website that to do, let's say, investment or to do payment for fake product. Then what they do, they get the credit card numbers and details, then they suck some money from the account. And then cross-site scripting. Cross-site scripting is attacking through the scripting or the writing of in the website of the company. Through that HTML writing, they can the HTML scripting codes, they can log into sensitive information and access sensitive information. Bad bots, it's one of the aiming at e-commerce industry attack. What they do here, the hackers will use, let's say, will try to fill up some information in, let's say, to make order for some products, but to key in some information or some data or some malicious virus to send to the system or the application, in order to get sensitive information or hijack the system. Number 5 is distributed denial of services or DDoS attacks, which we explained that using many attacks, or meaning many computers or devices to generate crowd of attack to the system, to the target system, to make it crowd and cannot process the other business. And last one is SQL injection. From the name, that the hacker will try to hijack the database by either physical injection of some malicious, or injecting, as let's say, by USB or pen drive, or through the sending email. If you press the link, then some to download something, then it will attack directly the database of your website. This figure is explaining the Smurf attack. You can see here the perpetrator. He through the he do the You can see here there is a node, several nodes that create and send the attack through the intermediate networking. This is the intermediate networking. And this example is about the zombie computers attack, or distributed denial of services attack, or we call it DDoS. The perpetrator is creating, or first hijacking some nodes, computers, and through these nodes will create those computers is zombie. This is a zombie network, A surface and B and C and so on, and create attack to the victim server. Having mentioned the risk and threats of the data and internet or e-commerce business model, now let's talk about the security and the assurance procedures, and how we should trust the shopping online and so on. First techniques is the encryption technique. Encryption is the conversion of data into secret code for storage and transmission over the network. The encryption algorithm convert clear text into coded, what we call it C4 text equivalent, which is decoded or decrypted back to clear text at the receiving end. And then the other side of security and assurance and trust is digital authentication. We have three techniques. We have the first, the digital signature. Digital signature is an electronic authentication technique that ensures transmitted message originated with authorized senders was not tampered with hackers or any unauthorized people after the signature was applied. And then we have digital certificate techniques. Digital certificate is like an electronic ID card used with a public key encryption system to verify the message sender authentication. And then we have third-party certification authority, CAS or CAS, issues digital certificate IDs. This digital IDs is like to support the digital certificate that we mentioned just now. And then because of because public key encryption is central to authentication, public key infrastructure PKI constitute the policies and procedures needed for public key management. So in other words, when we talk about digital authentication, we have digital signature, we have or private digital certificate, or we call it private key, and we have public key, we have third party authentications. All of this along with the encryption, all of this will create security and trust to the using the internet. This figure will explain how how the public key and private key is playing role in transmitting the data in secure manner. So here the sender is sending clear text message, meaning that, let's say you write down or you key in your credit card number. So this credit card number will not send to the what we call to the receiver. This is the receiver location, will not send as a number as it is. So first it will be encrypted. This encryption by algorithm encryption, coding this number into through the encryption program, and this one we call it public key. So then it will be sent to as a cipher text message. This cipher text message will be sent to the receiver location, and this receiver location will have the what we call decryption program to open this algorithm cipher text, and then transform it to the previous form or the clear text, and then the clear text will go here and so on. Another security assurance and trust functions or procedures is the firewall. Firewall is a system to insulate or separate the organization's intranet from the internet. Common configuration employs there is two firewalls types. The first one, network level firewall, and the second one is the what we call application level firewall. Network level firewall provides basic screening of low security messages and routes them to destination based on the source and destination addresses, whereby application level firewall provides high level network security by running security applications called proxies that perform sophisticated functions such as verifying the user's authentication and so on. Now let's look into the trusted third party organizations offer seal of assurance that business can display in their website homepage, just to show that they are uh, applying the procedures, the IT procedures, or the what we call the antivirus procedures based on this well-known companies or vendors of security, cyber security. So Better Business Pro is PPP, trusted, very sign or ink. This is kind of a certificate to put in your in the website of the business. International Computer Security Association, ICSA, and then ICPA, CIECA, Web Trust, and AICPA, CIECB, System Trust. So all of this is companies that some companies or the company when they will display, just to show that how trusty, how much they invest and they care about the security and assurance. So I give here example of Maybank and Bank Islam. For Maybank, this is some of the security companies, like this one is Logic Security, and other companies or other certificates that they are using. Whereby in Bank Islam, I see only one down there, and then I have seen this in their main page, that be aware of and protect yourself from scams and fraud. just to maybe this is one of the messages required by the certified company. Now let's look to the implications of accounting. What is the implication of e-commerce to the first issue is about the privacy. The privacy pertains to the level of confidentiality employed in the managing customer and trading partners details and information. The company should answer those questions to measure or to evaluate the privacy level of this company. Can individual and businesses verify and update information captured about them? Does the organization share or sell such information about the customers or partners? What information is the company capturing? What kind of information? Is it personal information or location, marketing information, or even more depth details and information? And then what mechanisms ensure consistent application of policies? And lastly, does the organizations have stated privacy policy? Did these organizations stated this policy to the customer? And then the second one is self-harbor agreement, establishes privacy standards for information transmittal between US and Europe, and it requires some requirements. So this safe harbor agreement is in terms of transferring the information from US and Europe countries. The requirement first notice of data collection and choice of what data to provide. So they give this choice and the information they collect to the customers or the partners, and limitation on data sharing and assurance of the security and integrity. So they cannot just share anything. They should it's limited to certain information, let's say some information about location, about the gender, and so on. Then lastly, access to data collection and proper enforcement. Another implications of e-commerce or internet business model for accounting. First is the continuous auditing techniques needed to ensure the auditors review transactions at the frequent interval or as they happened. So since this e-commerce is real-time transaction, based on real-time transaction, so the auditor need to have techniques that allowing the auditor to have interval or frequent interval or even real-time audit technique. Need to employ or adopt or use intelligent control agents, which are auditors defines heuristics that search electronic transaction for anomalies. And if you study the audit 2 subject, then you will hear about what we call plug audit functions, which is you create a system that can really review and audit based on real time and connect to the client software and ERP system. When electronic transactions are generated without human intervention, audits may need to be extended to critical systems of all parties involved in the transaction. So since this transactions is a digital transaction and may be generated through the system, the auditor should have different audit functions, not only to audit the client system, but also to audit the suppliers and customers involved in that transaction. Open system designs allow mission critical information to be at risk of exposed to intruders in and out of the organization. So the intruders means those who are interfere and try to either in the internal employees try to interfere the open system, the system, or the external hackers. Okay, so what accountants should do? Accountants need to understand the cryptographic techniques used to protect the data. Lastly, in electronic systems, identity authentication is not a simple thing. So auditor must understand the technologies and applications to perform the assurance function. Another e-commerce implications to other accounting professions, the repudiation or denial can lead to uncollected revenues or legal action. Electronic system can use digital signature and digital certificate to promote non-repudiation process or function. Then, to assess data integrity, accountants must become familiar with concept of computing a digest of documents and the role digital signature in data transmission. Accounting firms need to be expert in assessing access control to prevent unauthorized access to the data. Accountants' risk assessment role is greatly expanded by the internet commerce, whose legal framework is still evolving. Must understand the potential legal implication of the electronic commerce system transactions. So they need to be updated about the digital or the e-commerce system transaction. We can say that we already covered most of the point, most of the main idea about the e-commerce, how it works, the services under the cloud computing and so on. We'll talk also about the risk associated with the e-commerce and the internet business models. We also talk about the security and trust functions and assurance that can be done, and then we discuss the implication of the e-commerce for the accounting and accounting profession. From this point and on, I will not go and explain in details because it's a kind of appendix about the intra-organizational electronic e-commerce. It's explaining something more technical. I will just go through in general or in surface manner. So network topologies. The network topologies, we have lane, which is local area network, often confined to a single room in a building, or they may link several buildings in a closed area. So it is kind of servers that used for one location and so on. So we call it LAN, local area network. And then we have WANs, network that exceed the geographic limitation or limit of lane, or so are the WANs or wide area networks is covering through the internet and so on. So that is the difference between lane and WANs. And then we have NIC, physical connection of workstation to the lane achieved via the network interface card, which feeds the computer or the PC's expansion slot and to contain circulate for the internode. And this is the example of lane. You can see here the lane is connected to the lane infrastructure is connected to computers directly. so the printer is connected through the computer server and so on. You can see that that's all nodes and database, so all connected, and they are close. So also this is kind of some features about lane nodes share common resources managed through the special purpose computers called servers. So and then we have star topology. Star topology is a network of computers with a large central computer, or we call it the host computer, that has direct connection to the smaller computers. So I will not go in details about that because it's kind of just explaining the details about the star topology and the lane. So here we have the bridges and gateways, linked lanes and ways. You can see here we have lane connected. This is kind of nodes or computers that connected through the in one location, and then we have another bridge. This bridge is connected another buildings or other network, so to connect. Then the gateway is the connecting the more distance of lane, or connecting the wane is through the internet service. And then the start network, so you can see here that we have the what we call the hosting computer, and then it connect to different location or different computers or smaller computers. So the example. Okay, so then we have hierarchical topology, we have ring topology. I'll not go in details on this, so just show you, explain in the figure. See, so here we have corporate level, based on the corporate level we have, then in the region levels, then we have in the local level, we have different levels. So the networking will be connect based on this hierarchy, topology. Networking topology will be based on the hierarchical framework of this. So connect the production planning system, will be connect the local levels to the region, then from region to the then ring topologies, that we have like A, F, C, D, and so on. So you see how they are creating this ring, like ring of connection. Then we have bus topology, and we have client server topology. All of this is explaining how they, and this is the bus topology. You can see that they are like seats in bus and then connected to the server. And then we have client server topology. We have different client, then we have server. What is the difference between client server topology and bus topology? It depends on the operations of the client application. And then network controls, we have purpose of network controls. The purpose of network controls is to establish the communication session between sender and receiver, manage the flow of data across the network, detect and resolve data collisions between competing nodes, detect errors in data caused by line failure or single degeneration. And bowling is most popular techniques for establishing wane communication session. And the wane or the bowling technique is suited to start two-star and hierarchical topologies, non-continuous, so data collision are prevented. Organizations can set priorities for data communication so that important nodes can be bowled more often than less important nodes. And this is the polling method of controlling data collisions. So you can see here that this one, let's say this one is the more important nodes, so it is more bold, the data transmission, and single mode can be applied using the polling method. Then we have passing, and token passing is involves transmitting a special single uh, that the token around the network from node to node in a specific sequence. So only the node possessing the token is allowed to transmit data used with either ring or bus topologies. Carrier sensing is as a random access technologies used with bus topology that detect collision when they occur. So that's how they explain that, then how the node wishing and to transmit the lessons to the bus, and also the collisions and the Ethernet is the best known LAN or LAN software using this. So here we have the figure to explain the token passing approach to controlling data collision. You can see here that we have token here that control the nodes transmission of data collision. Okay, so token, as we said, this is the bus token data or the networking topology, bus networking topology. So you can see that the token is applied. And then finally we will talk about electronic data interchange, EDI. And EDI we did explain it in two previous topics in revenue cycle, when we talk about the advanced system for customer partnering and exchanging the data with the customers, and also in the purchasing cycle in interchanging the information with the suppliers. So the intercompany exchange of computer persuasible business information in standard format. In a pure EDI environment, no human involvement is necessary to approve or authorize the transaction. So this is in the case of 100% or optimal EDI. But if we sometimes they apply partial EDI, so we still need the human to involve, but not as much as the normal or basic environment or physical environment companies. So companies may have internal EDI software and hardware, or may subscribe to VANs, networking, or cloud computing to perform functions without having to invest in personal software and hardware. Then the key to EDI success is the use of a standard format for messaging between dissimilar systems, meaning that between the business partners. US standards is the American National Standards Institute, ANSI, issue a format for the communication between the systems called X12 format. International standards is the EDI for administrations, commerce, and transport, EDIFACT or EDFACT. Okay, so here we have overview of EDI. Company A, if they have the customer will customers purchase the system, then EDI translation software, and then communication software, then the purchase order transmitted electronically via the telecommunication system. And then we have company B, which is considered the supplier, will have the communication software and EDI translation software. Then they have suppliers, sales order, customer. So you can see here that this company is playing the role of customer. Then they have customer approach system, and those are the suppliers, sales order system. So they communicate, instead of sending sales order, then they send the confirmation, and then after that they send they have let's say they send the invoice. And then they send the items or the bills bills of documents or shipment documents. Then these guys will send the cash or the check or the remittance advice, and then will receive the receipt of receiving the cash. So all of this can be minimized and being digital through the EDI system. The value added network and EDI. What is the value added? How it is influenced the company, and is through having what we call less documentations, more fast, and reduce the cost of transaction, processing the transaction. And then this is the X12 format that produced by the US to just this is the functional group. You see here that we have transaction set, data segment, we have data elements, and then we have transaction and another transaction set. Then we have the functional group. We have here a list of transactions again. In each transaction set we have data segment and we have data elements, and this is the electronic envelope, we call it the electronic and here we have the example relationship between X12 format and a conventional source of documents. You can see here we have data elements. The data element is this one, meaning that the quantity, the items, the description, unit cost, total, all of this is part of the data element, whereby the data segment is the information about the sender or this mailer, the one who received the information. Sorry, the one who received the let's say the customer. And then all of this is transaction set. This is representing the transactions. Okay, so the benefit of using EDI, we already explained it, as I said, but first reducing the elimination, reduction or eliminating of data entry and error reduction, reduction of paper and postage, automation of manual procedures, and inventory reduction due to reduced lag time, speeding in terms of because we save time. And then financial EDI, electronic fund transfer, EFT, processing more complicated than using EDI for purchasing and selling. EFT, electronic fund transaction, requires intermediary banks between trading partners. Automated clearing house, ACH, is a central bank that carries the transfer fund from originated bank to the receiving bank. And then many banks have established themselves as value-added banks, VABs, to compute for ACH market and allow clients a single cash disbursement system for both EDI and non-EDI customers. Again, for financial EDI, you need to know that we are now in step further. We already in the market, we already have what we call fintech, the financial technology, and based on this is using the blockchain to have the AFT, having also what we call a new bank or neural bank, which is based on specific function of the banking system and provided through the digital base or advanced technology. And this is the EFT transaction between trading partners. You can see here we have here original bank, and we have the receiving bank, and for sure the house ACH bank is the automatic clearing house. And for international automated transfer or EFT, normally Citibank, the Bank of America, and so on, they are applying the ACH, playing the role of ECH bank. Why they do that? Also, it is a kind of political matters to ensure the what we call the what we call the money laundering, and also to restrict some boycott or restrict some transferring to unfavor organizations like terrorists and so on. Okay, so now the last topic we'll talk about open system interface, OSI, network protocol. OSI model provides standards by which different manufacturers products interface in a seamless interconnection at user level. So specific functions of each layer of the OSI. First is physical layer and data link layer, and then network layer and transport layer, session layer, and presentation layers, and application layers. I believe I did complete and cover all of this in the main topic. I bring more details on it, so that will help us help us to understand, because I believe this is very important. The physical layers, as we said, it's the 7 layers. The first one is the physical layers, defines the standards of for physical interconnection, and data link layer is protocols concerned with the transmission of data packet, and network layer is protocols deal with routing and relying data different lanes and ways, which is based on the or the firewalls. And then transport layer ensures delivery of the entire file or message. Session layer is guarantees a correct and synchronized connection between two users. Presentation layer is the protocols provide rules for editing, formatting, converting, and displaying data to user systems. Lastly is application layer is provides overall environment for users or users application to access the network. Okay, so this is the figure again to explain the 7 layers of OSI protocols, and you can see here we have the nodes one, or the sender, and this one, let's say for example the receiver. So they will should establish this software uh, protocols. So the first 3 layers from application, presentation, and session is about the data manipulation tasks, and then the transport protocols, network, data link, and physical is data communication task. For the data link and physical is a hardware base, whereby this one is a software. And that's all for today topic about e-commerce. uh, I do believe this topic is very important because it covers one of the very trended feature of the future digital era, which is the cloud computing. And we can see that we are more involved in a minute base into the internet use, and it start to be like uh, something that we is even start to be very important of using internet, connecting to the others. People are more addicted to the using the internet now. There's working, enjoying, and communicating is through the internet. So what we have covered today is something that we used to have it. We always have it during our daily activities, but we try to touch it from the angle, from different angle, which is the technical angle, and also we try to reflect this technical aspects to the accounting and risk related to the organizations. I think that's all for today, and see you inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.